Believe it or not, some of the happiest people you see are actually the most lonely and miserable people. Elon Musk made a tweet the other day, and I just put it up there for you to see. Something for you to reflect on. In the Holdovers, the characters aren't loud about their pain. They refuse to talk about it. A lot of us are like that. We're not loud about our pain. We carry it quietly until we explode.
You stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
We say we don't have time, but what we really don't have is the courage to slow down. You have time, but you don't want to slow down because you know if you slow down, you would have to focus on the real issues. Some of these people, you're doing way better than them. In every way that they try to talk you down, you are winning. They are not. Hi. Nobody really talks about this, but so many adults are lonely. Not physically, but emotionally alone. And the scary part is, we've gotten used to it. I saw The Holdovers. Very interesting film.
I was praying your mother would pick up the phone, or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a flying saucer. My father's dead.
And it had me thinking and reflecting on how nobody really prepares you for adult loneliness. And by that, I mean, you can have friends, have a large following, large followers. You can be a very popular person. You can have a large subscriber base on YouTube. Have 1 million friends on Facebook, on social media. But the truth is, loneliness is not about being physically alone. It's about emotional isolation. You can be in the middle of a crowd and still be lonely. In The Holdovers, you see characters who appear to be physically together, but emotionally guarded. They are carrying their disappointment, shame, anger, loneliness, and they've managed to bury it in routine. Like most of us, you see a lot of people, you can tell something is wrong, but when you ask them, what is going on? Are you okay? Are you fine? They say, I'm fine. It's just work. It's just stress. So many of us out there hiding behind routine, distracting ourselves from the real issues that are bothering us.
You promised on the way we'd spend some time in Boston.
I'm going to be talking about The Holdovers and how it relates with life. And then I'm going to share at least a strategy that I use to combat some of these things. I want to beg you to please join this conversation. Share with us your experience. If you have any strategies, that work for you. This is actually a very, very big social issue today. A lot of people are trying to cope with emotional loneliness. Nobody's seeing them. Nobody's hearing them. And for some people, they don't even want to be seen. They don't want to be heard. They are too shy, too embarrassed, too proud to talk about these things. And these things are very important, especially for our mental health. Some adults are like the characters in The Holdovers. For example, Paul Giamatti's character, who's coincidentally Paul in the movie. Paul believes that emotional silence is strength, carries his disappointment with so much pride, and pretends like he's unshakable.
I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me.
Without thinking, I'm sure you know 1 or 2 persons like that in your circle. These emotions, they don't go anywhere. They sit and wait. And when you see some people react sometimes when they outburst, it appears to be like overboard. It's as a result of emotions, negative emotions in our minds, in our hearts for such a long time. And when they come out, you can't even control them. That's cost a lot of people so much. And I've enjoyed Randolph's character, Mary, masks her regrets in routine.
Mary, we remember Curtis as such an outstanding and promising young man, and we know this holiday season will be especially difficult without him.
There's so many people who regret certain things they did that they shouldn't have done, and it's affecting them. They just can't get past it. They have to constantly try to distract themselves from the real issues that are affecting them. It's quite sad, but there are a lot of people who are like that. And when you watch The Holdovers, I'm sure you'll be able to think of a couple of people in your circle that remind you, or the character reminds you of. That brings me to Dominic Sessa's character, Angus. Now, there are so many people like this. People who mask their true feelings, who hide how they feel. They guard it using sarcasm and jokes, so that they don't have to talk about what is really bothering them. I'm sure you know a couple of people who are like that. There are 2 extremes of this kind of people. There are those that will do everything to make people happy. Believe it or not, some of the happiest people you see are actually the most lonely and miserable people. Elon Musk made a tweet the other day, and I just put it up there for you to see, and it should be something for you to reflect on. A lot of people you see who are very happy on social media, a lot of people you see who do everything possible to make people happy in gatherings, in social circles. They are the ones cracking the jokes. They are cracking jokes even about themselves, trying to make everybody genuinely happy. A lot of these people are actually very miserable. So take time out once in a while to really find out what is going on in the lives of the people you see who make an extra effort or conscious effort to ensure that everybody's happy. Some of those people are not happy. This is real world and this is real talk, I'm telling you. The other extreme are people who project their insecurities, who project their pain, who project their misery. This is another extreme of this kind of, or this category of people. They do everything to make everyone else miserable. And that's because they are very miserable. They make a conscious effort to make you feel like they have it all together. But it's not so. It's far from the truth. And then when they are in social circles, they do everything possible to put everybody else down. Some of these people, you probably envy them. But trust me, you're doing way better than them. Emotionally, physically, financially, socially, in every way that they try to talk you down, you are winning. They are not. And we have a lot of people like that in society. Dominic Sessa's character does everything, from sarcasm to jokes. Well, you could see that he was in pain. He was dealing with stuff. He was going through stuff that he would rather not talk about. And you shouldn't allow people who do things like this get to you. Do not allow them affect your mental health. Some of them are dealing with bigger issues than you can even imagine. Your issues are nothing compared to what they're dealing with. And this is their coping mechanism.
Now, most of the kids dislike you, pretty much hate you. Teachers too. You know that, right?
Like in the Holdovers, many of us act like we're fine. We think we have it, all together so long as we can keep distracting ourselves from the real issues. But the truth is that after a while, the issues will begin to distract you from the work and the routine itself. Sometimes loneliness isn't about the absence of people, but the absence of vulnerability. You need to allow someone to see you for who you are. Drop that performance, drop the act. In the Holdovers, the characters aren't loud about their pain. They refuse to talk about it. A lot of us are like that. We're not loud about our pain. We carry it quietly like many of us do until we explode.
You stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
We say we don't have time, but what we really don't have is the courage to slow down. It's not time. You have time, but you don't want to slow down because if you slow down, you would have to focus on the real issues that you do not want to deal with. So let me share my strategy, how I deal with loneliness sometimes, because everybody has it. There are times, even when you're in the midst of people, you feel alone. In the course of my career, at some point in time, when I, was a performing artist, I was a singer, I used to have a lot of friends, a lot of people around me, but I used to feel very lonely. I used to feel alone. Because most of the time you have people who are not in sync with your thoughts. People who are not really like minds, but you're forced to share the same space with them because of what you do. Like going to work. You don't get to choose the people you work with. You just have to learn to cope. At some point in time, I could be in the midst of so many people, VIP section in clubs, and I'm alone because I really don't want to be there. Take 10 minutes daily. Isolate yourself from everything. No distractions, no music, nothing. Look for a quiet place. Sit quietly. And ask yourself direct questions. Be very honest. Ask yourself these questions. What am I disappointed in? What am I regretting right now? What is this thing that is bothering me? Write them down. You see, because vague stress feels overwhelming. Clarity reduces emotional weight. I'm not a therapist, but these are simple strategies that I do. This is very practical. Okay. What you need to do next is replace avoidance with one honest action. Call someone. Different emotions can prevent us from talking to that one person who is actually the problem. Call that person. Tell that person how you feel. Let them know how they bother you. Let them know what is wrong. Let them know what you think about what they did. Have an honest conversation with someone.
Mom, please don't do this. Please.
Remember when I talked about dropping the act, dropping the performance? Talk to somebody. Let them know what you're going through. There has to be at least one person that you can open up to. And when you talk to that person, open up. You'll be shocked at how relieved you will feel. In the Holdovers, when Angus eventually opened up about his late parents and all that, you see how relieved he became. You see how their friendship, blossomed.
I think you and I have this in common.
I don't think I've ever had a real family Christmas like this before. Thank you, Mary.
Sometimes you can just talk to someone in your circle that you know has the gift of counsel. There are a lot of people who are like that. You can talk to them, and open up. Reduce one unnecessary commitment. There are so many of us, we are trapped. And I say this even for myself too. We are trapped in commitments. The commitments, responsibilities are killing us. Some of us have forgotten about our own happiness, our own peace of mind. Some of us have buried ourselves in trying to make every other person happy except ourselves. Reduce at least one commitment. Even if it is just for a short while, till you find yourself again. If this resonated with you, please don't ignore it. Sit with it. Please share it with someone who you think may need it. Join the conversation in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you have any strategies, how you deal with this, kind of situations, please let us know in the comments too as well. I'm trying to make this as interactive as possible. I know everybody out there, one way or the other, can relate with what we've talked about. So please share your experience. Thank you so very much for doing this with me. And please, you should totally go check out The Holdovers. It's an interesting movie. It was released in 2023. Paul Giamatti is in it. Let me know what your thoughts are too about it. If you've seen it too, you can let us know in the comment section. My name's Zidon Paporella. Till I come your way again with another interesting edition of Cinema Reflections. Peace and love.